You're watching the Chaos Protocol on Transplanar RPG, an all-transgender, people of color-led dark fantasy TTRPG show set in an original non-colonial, anti-Orientalist multiverse. If you like what you see, please consider pledging to our Patreon to support the show and get access to a patron-only after-show, early podcast episodes, GM notes, character sheets, and even the chance for your tabletop OC to cameo in our series. Thank you so much for watching, and enjoy. The Chaos Protocol is a dark fantasy series that may contain content that is triggering for some viewers. Content warnings for this episode include climate collapse, environmental disaster, apocalypse, death of loved ones, survival and scarcity, food, alcohol, heights, animal extinction, grief, and references to storms. Arc 4, Episode 12, That Plays the Fool, from Waiting for the Moon to Burn by Connie Chang. Two and a half years after the dust comes, the operator of Tower 19 breaks their favorite record. They weren't intending to, but that doesn't matter in this sort of situation. There is a deep, screaming well inside of them, and the only way they can feel better is by taking it out on all of the things they so carefully collected and maintained over the years. In the archives, the shelves come crashing down. Written logs unspool in long, unseemly sheets across the floorboards like bandages gone awry. Hollow pads shatter. Cassette tapes are flung against the walls. The vinyls get the worst of it. Some cleave into two, others break into 1,000 pieces. When the red fades into black, the operator realizes what they've done. They see the broken remnants of the things they care about, the split face of Ancestor by Spiderfish, and their anger is replaced by a great burning shame and an even greater sense of despair. They ascend the ladder up to their home. They grab the second-to-last emergency beer. They ascend the ladder once again and surface into the broadcast room that has always been their haven, their refuge, and now their torment. They sit in their chair, stewing bitterly at the controls, feeling that great yawning pit open wider and wider within them. Without thinking, they click their personal tape recorder on. They drum their fingers against the counter 3 times. And then they speak. They say all the things that they have buried inside of themselves. All the things that they are too scared to confront, all the things that they fear are true or will become true if they speak them into existence. And when they are done, the heaviness does not feel lighter within them, but it does exist outside of them now too, and maybe that's worth something. There is a beep. They look up and squint at one of their monitors, which is blinking rapidly in the rhythm of an alarm. Nearby, a compass needle swivels, pointing south. They click the tape deck off and roll their chair to a different counter where they consult one of many maps, frowning, biting their lip. Is there even anyone left to hear them? The beeping continues. They shake their head. As long as they are here, as long as they draw breath, they will do this. They roll their chair to the central console, slide a fader, press a button, and pick up their broadcast microphone. And then they speak. This is Broadcast Tower 19 in northern Hofu, transmitting at 1942 hours. If you are hearing this, then you are in the path of a dust storm headed your way. Strike Team Nova. Here, on the second platform of the radio tower, you stand at the threshold of someone's living quarters. The decor is simple, just like the records room, but with even more personal flourishes. Eclectic wall art covers the walls, a graphic of a squiggly serpent cut into 6 pieces with the words, 7 lives left. A traditional watercolor painting of snowy mountains, various patterned tessellations, and a woven tapestry with silver bells that jingle lightly in the breeze. A simple kitchenette contains an electric stovetop with a tea kettle in the back right burner. There's a microwave and even a coffee maker with an old, rotted filter still inside of it. A non-functional sink gleams in one corner, its basin filled with nothing but dust. A ratty hand towel hangs off of the handle of the oven. A small bookshelf stands next to a comfortable armchair, filled not with the orderly, professional scrolls of the record room, but personal books, novels, memoirs. Also leaning on one of the shelves is a violin and a bowstring, alongside an open songbook perched upon a small stand. And finally, in one corner of the room, a twin-sized bed is stacked upon wooden crates and a makeshift brick foundation. The mattress itself is dusty and unmade, with a thick, leather-bound journal upon it. Yinghe quickly heads toward the bookshelf with its violin and songbook, scanning the area for signs of a record player. And now we pan back to the 3 of you. Which part of these living quarters do you gravitate toward first?
Xainan was right behind Yinghe. He very carefully sets down the records that they brought up here, the vinyl. And he walks towards the kitchen, full of familiar technology, things that in his own kitchen were also defunct. Things that even in the houses that he scavenged through were defunct. But there's still the hope always that there is food. That there's something here that's useful. And he can't help but look there first.
Xainan, as you head over to the kitchenette in hopes of finding food, water, nourishment, we pan back to Lumièra and Seir.
Lumièra takes a look at the bookshelf before she stops and looks at the thick leather-bound journal that sits on the table. You can learn a lot about someone judging their reading tastes, looking at what they have on their shelves. But that's only a piece of them. This looks like a journal. So I'm aiming for that. That's the other part.
Okay. Lumièra, you head toward what appears to be a personal journal upon the small bed, the twin-sized mattress in one corner of the room. And now we pass over to Seir.
Seir watches Lumièra head over to the journal, and reflected in his pupils, he sees his own tightly wound up, bound, untouched on his belt. As I will move towards the paintings, the pieces of art here, the little touches of self, and Seir thinks of his own home, the little touches of himself and Sing in our homes, and gravitates over there.
Okay. We'll pan over to Xainan first. In the kitchenette, why don't you make me a survival check?
Sure.
I think that's just 1d20 unless you're harnessing a tool or power.
I think maybe for the first time, he is purposely wondering about the ghosts again, since everything went wrong in the storm. He's still afraid of the dust that came out of his face that he hasn't mentioned and kind of filed away in the same place you put your nightmares. But he's curious because so many of his memories live in a kitchen. His ghosts and all the times he loved them. And he wonders what Sorna would think of this kitchen, where she would put things. And if possible, I'd like to use ghosts.
Okay, my question for you, Xainan, is what instinct beyond curiosity? Because there's the curiosity here, of course, but there's also the motivation to survive that's driving you here. So how does that instinct come up in this moment as you call upon the ghosts that have always come with you?
He never organized the kitchen at the Lodestar setting. It was always the way that Sorna had it set up. Even when he went to other kitchens in other places, he has this very concise memory. If it's not her, it's Dom, one of them complaining about how the kitchen in this place doesn't make any damn sense. And so it's almost a conversation of, well, where'd you put it? That he starts to wonder what she would say.
Okay, in that moment, as you're reaching out specifically to this memory, this echo, this imprint of Sorna, and a little bit of Dom as well, you do feel that guiding presence by you, a speck of it. It's never left you. Your feet are just going back on the right track. So why don't you roll with 2d20?
The duality of man. I rolled a success
Okay.
and a natural 20.
One success. Okay. We're happy for that one success.
Yep.
Perfect. Xainan, you rifle through, first, let's say, the cabinet of this kitchenette, and you find a few sachets of tea, which, well, you'd need water for them the most, and the tea kettle in the back corner, of course, you check that as well, but it's completely empty, dry as a bone on the inside. Otherwise, inside the cabinet, you find some porcelain plates. You also find a small bundle of birthday candles. That could be useful, but there are only 2 candles left, the plain white ones. The more colorful ones are all missing. And you also find a ton of mugs. Many of them look handmade in all different kinds of shapes and sizes and colors. The most eye-catching one is a large, bright red mug shaped like a strawberry. Additionally, you locate a mini fridge that's kind of tucked away, oddly enough, underneath the sink, like it's been hidden. But your eyes catch it, and you're able to kind of open it up, and instantly a horrible smell greets your nose. Something disgusting, black and rotted, and completely unidentifiable in the back. But your eyes also fall on something else. There is a 6-pack of dirt cheap beer. Most of the beers are gone, except for one. And you see a single note taped to the single remaining beer with one word written on it in marker. Emergency.
He pulls that out, looks it over. He can hear 4 different people that he's known in his life say that thing's gonna have gone skunky. But it doesn't matter. He can relate to this emergency ration set aside. And he pulls it out, wondering how much the person who was here was just like him, squirreling away the last bit of whiskey. He pulls it out, puts it in his coat.
You notice that the Best Buy date was around 15 years ago, and it rests deep in your coat pocket. Because you did get one success, I'm going to say that you get another provision, but because you were the one that found it, we double that. So your provisions, Strike Team Nova, go from 4 to 6. We pan over now to Lumièra. Lumièra, you head to the small, rather ratty-looking mattress in the corner. Time has not been kind to it. Neither has the dust. You doubt it would hold up under even the smallest of you, perhaps crumble into nothingness at the lightest touch. But as you stoop down and you pick up the journal itself is hefty and it does not crumble. And you can see that the pages are swollen with love and care and writing in ink on it. There's a simple piece of twine that binds it shut, so you can open it very easily. And nearby next to you, there is a window with light filtering in, and it hits the journal and hits the bed, actually at just the perfect angle as you start to unravel this journal. And you open it. And I assume, Lumièra, you start to read it?
Of course.
Okay. You flip it open to the first page, and you instantly realize that this is not a diary, it is a birder's log. As you see different entries with different birds listed and notes about them. And the earliest date on the first page is from 17 or 18 years ago, so several years before the dust first arrived. And the earlier logs, you notice tons of lists of all kinds of alpine and what they refer to as bantam birds, with the occasional wild raptor or draken sighting. And there are occasional little drawings in the margins. They're very similar to the style of drawing on the lamp from the earlier landing. Definitely the same person made the same illustrations. And as you continue flipping through, now we go from like 18, 19 years ago to around 17 years ago. And you notice that they keep making entries about the same northern bantam hawk that starts coming around more frequently and starts being spotted nearly daily. And you notice an entry from around 16 years ago. This operator notes that this northern bantam hawk has made a nest on the side of the radio tower, right where they can see it outside their window in their living quarter. And you notice outside the window a support strut extending outward, almost as though it were the branch of a tree, and you notice a large nest, quite big, balanced across two different struts. It's completely empty. There's nothing inside of it at all, and the twigs at this point are completely desiccated. But you also notice that there's some yarn tied around the bottom of the nest, securing it to the struts so that it doesn't get knocked over. And as you continue to read, you see entry after entry saying, Northern Bantam Hawk. Built a nest on level 2 support struts nearly overnight. We'll be seeing this one a lot, I think. And then Northern Bantam Hawk. Eggs! With 3 exclamation points. And then Northern Bantam Hawk. Tied off the nest after a storm came through and kicked up all kinds of soil and debris. Should be secure now. And as you continue leafing through the book, we pass on over to Seir. Seir, you observe this wall art. And as you do, you notice how different each of the pieces are. It's like whoever selected them just picked based on their own personal tastes with no thought of judgment or refinement at all, just what they wanted. And you think of a certain vampire in a certain city who would have a lot to say about that.
Oh, certainly.
And you also notice, however, as you're searching for more signs of art and personal taste, paper cranes. Dozens and dozens of paper cranes all over this living area. They're on windowsills, they're on the bookshelves, they're on tables, they're on the desks. Some are folded from plain or patterned paper, origami paper specifically, but most of them actually are folded from the pages of what look to be ripped up books.
I think Seir picks them up like a child on a Easter egg hunt, just picking them up, comparing sizes and patterns, and looking at the little quirks of all of them. He gets a bit nostalgic. But it's not just their own nostalgia of doing crafts with Sing, their home littered with whatever paper mache, sketches, paintings on wall, oil pastels staining the marble floor. And this is a different type of nostalgia. It is the nostalgia of wonder. When it's a similar feeling when you like look into the lights of someone else's house as you pass by on a highway, and you wonder how they live in there, what sort of furniture is there, how do they breathe and greet their loved ones. I think it's a similar type of nostalgia that Seir experiences here. When do they fold these? Where do they fold these? Where's the highest concentration of them? Which books are the ones that are most favored? And I think this is where he starts becoming a little hunter, hunting down the path that this person walks in this entire room. Where do they sit? How do they move? And he just sits there in that wonder.
Seir, as you marvel at these paper cranes, you marvel at this mishmash of art, you marvel at this small window into the past of a person you've never met, but so much of them is everywhere all around you. We push back to Xainan. That lukewarm beer sitting heavy in your pocket, and you hear a terrible noise, kind of plucking in a shrill nearby the bookshelf where Yinghe has picked up the violin and is kind of going at it like a cello, not in the right position. And they quickly lower it. They look sheepishly at the rest of you and they let out a sorry. God, I made it look so easy.
Yeah. Give it another go.
It's not going to sound good. I don't even think it's in tune. I mean, I would be very surprised if it was in tune.
I'm surprised it still has a string that makes noise.
Just two. There's a songbook here, though. Notes. But I don't know how to read them.
That is extremely unfortunate, and I'm sorry to burst your bubble, but maybe we take those strings. We might need them.
Can we not just take... Can we take the whole thing? And we can take the strings off if and when we need to use them, but I think I'd like to just keep the whole thing for now, if that's okay.
I wish we could just take everything. He looks over all the books, the cranes, the artwork.
If I may, Xainan. Seir has 3 paper cranes in his palms. One of them is like a lavender with an almost kind of like floral pattern to it. One has like what seems to be some sort of like book about flowers in there. There's a singular, what looks like a biologically accurate drawing of a hibiscus that like folds right where the wings spread out. And then one that's just kind of like a dark page origami of this paper crane, and it's caked in a little bit of dust, but the dust makes it glitter almost a little bit in the way that dust does on black paper. And he kind of like goes over to you and he goes, "These are pretty."
Yeah. You know, if you fold enough of these, they're supposed to grant a wish. Someone
many
was
do you-
wishing real hard.
How many do you need?
1,000.
There look to be at least 1,000 here.
Yeah.
Maybe they got their wish. Whoever this is. Lumièra kind of drops the journal onto the bed. Plume of dust in its wake as it hits the mattress kind of puffs up around it. And she starts coughing again, waving it off.
Oh, can I see that actually, Lumièra? And Yinkua very interestedly goes over to the bed and gestures toward the journal, indicating whether or not you're done with it.
Yeah, it's just a bunch of bird sightings and stuff.
Ooh, that's kind of cool. And Yinkua picks it up and starts reading from where you left off. And as that happens, the spot by the bookshelf opens up. And Lumièra, you'll notice that these books aren't like the records or weather reports or maps or anything like that. These are actual books.
I think this is the first time you see her genuinely smile in a second. And clack, clack, clack. Her feet immediately take her right over to the shelf, and she has her index finger and she's tracing along the spine of each book, taking in the titles. Some of them are too dusty to see, so she kind of has to rub at the spine a bit to expose the titles if there are any.
Yes, there are maybe 2 or 3 dozen books in total on this tiny little bookshelf. It doesn't really have the space to hold any more. But there are a couple of books whose titles jump out to you for one reason or another. They seem to be particularly well worn, and their titles are particularly interesting. One of them is a book called Hymn of the Phoenix Beetle by an author called Kuwaji Waits. And the cover is like this bright crimson beetle that looks bathed in flame, and the shell has a golden tint to it.
Pop, you ever see anything like this before? And Lumièra holds up the cover of the book.
It is like he is seeing a ghost. Phoenix beetle, huh?
That's what it says. What is that even?
He walks over. And how much, inevitably, does he actually know about the Phoenix beetle?
Xainan, looking at this book, you remember a first encounter. You remember a barn. You smell raptor feathers. You remember 2 people dressed up in clothes that do not belong to them.
No.
And you remember an insect inside of a container, a beautiful insect with a glimmering shell. And you remember what Piera said about it, how valuable it is, how its wings produce a kind of dust back before the word was so loaded and heavy, that is said to contain immaculate medicinal properties, properties of longevity. Some even whisper of immortality.
These are supposed to be able to save a life. Maybe more than just that.
What, like keep him alive forever?
Yeah. The dust, and as he says that, he wipes a little bit of dust off the cover. Said to hold a lot of power. Never really paid much attention, but seems even more relevant now than just the money it was worth.
Were they real?
Oh. Yeah. Yeah, they were.
And Lumièra nods at that. And then her gaze looks back at you. And something in her eyes reads almost like she's scared to ask the next question, especially to you. But she also can't stop herself. And those eyes reflect back that same little girl that you first met at LSSG. Do you think they survived? Are they still here?
And caught in a moment crystallized in perfect amber in his memory. Not of the beetle. The beetle was there. It was circumstantial at best. But in a moment of love, there is a shot like a fairy tale in his mind that may be of anything. It would survive because here's Lumièra. Perfect and impossible as you are, able to make things live, able to change everything. Wouldn't that be nice?
Seir, you can hear Yinhe muttering to themselves as they're reading the journal out loud, the birder's journal next to you. And you can hear Ta whisper to themselves, Northern Bantam Hawk, no hatchlings this year. She'll try again next season. Thorn-beaked warbler, way out of its natural range. Possible relation to problems in the valley? Can't believe it flew all the way up here. Cloud vulture, sunning on the upper struts this morning. Beautiful blue bands around their talons. Glad to see some birds still looking healthy. Talia and Rem. Not birds. Travelers who got turned around trying to cross the mountains into the valley. Let them sleep in the supply cabin and sent them off with a radio and rations.
Travelers?
And Yinhe looks up at you briefly. Yeah, that's the only mention so far of any other people, though. And this entry is from 15, maybe 14 years ago.
Maybe they made it out.
I hope so. Most of these are about birds. Oh, look, here's another one. Northern Bantam Hawk. No eggs this year. I don't think she can find a mate. That's okay, baby. Never wanted one myself. I'll look out for you. Shuttle! Rose out of the valley in a huge cloud of smoke, rattled all the way up into the upper atmosphere. Got thrashed around a bit by the thermals. Serves them right. The notice said it wasn't supposed to leave for another 6 weeks, since it's the one of the last left in Hofu. Couldn't believe my eyes. Tried to cross-reference with the other towers, but still no response.
Read that again?
That's not good.
A shuttle landed here? Or was leaving here?
Yeah, there was an entry here from 14 years ago that said a shuttle left 6 weeks before it was supposed to.
It's awful early.
6 weeks?
Lumièra?
Yeah. Maybe there's more. And Yinhe flips through the pages, and they read out loud very quickly. Let's see, 13 years ago. Nothing. Thought I saw something go by when I was in the control room, but the damn dust is making everything hazy. Haven't seen the stars or the aurora in months. Storm. Nothing out here but the wind. Oh, cloud vulture! Buried him in the supply. Oh, behind the supply cabin. Got some silt in my throat, and I've been wheezing more up and down the ladders. Should try not to go out there as much, but I needed to. Nothing. Back when I still went to town, people would ask if I got lonely up here. I didn't, and I wasn't lying. Now I do. I miss the birds. Nothing. Maybe something in the sky. A dark planet. I don't know. Dust covered it up again before I could make it out. Nothing. Walked a mile down the mountain before I turned around and came back up. Hawk's nest got blown down. Found it in the dust, tied it back up in case she comes back. In case someone hears me. I'll stay. Nothing. Oh, here's the last one. Northern Bantam Hawk. It was a good run. I'm glad I stayed for the end. And the other pages are blank.
Listening to Yinkua, Xainan removes his hat. This journal, a beautiful eulogy for someone he never knew. But every word, every bit of hope and despair gets him deep in his bones. And he folds that crane and puts it close to his chest and holds his hat over it.
Can you
Considered
get
it a
out
long
to
time.
Sorry, Lumièra, repeat what you said.
Can you get out to it? Above table. Is it like something, like, is it like a platform and it like reaches out over and extends out over to the platform type of deal?
Yeah,
is
it
there
is.
anything blocking it?
Yeah, are you talking about the nest?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's kind of just like if you had a bird's nest out, like on your windowsill outside, essentially. It's just on a strut that extends outward.
Are there any more cranes around?
So many.
Lumièra's gonna grab one of the origami cranes and make her way out to the nest. Place the crane in the nest, kind of secure it a bit underneath the wire that ties to it. Not enough for it to crush the crane itself, but just to keep it there. And when she's done, she just looks at it, kisses her teeth. I am so sorry. It was never supposed to be like this.
In the dusty wind, the crane's paper wings flutter, as though it were alive, as though it can hear you. Back inside the living quarters, Xainan, your eyes fall upon a book on the bookshelf, close to where Lumièra was standing before she stepped outside briefly. And the title reads, When We Die, So Too Dies the Land, by an author called Xainan Esch. Something about the name of the book, the name of the author, is dimly familiar to you. And the front of it is a beautiful painting of a deep green gorge with a river snaking through it, trees that reach up toward the twin suns, a landscape that you're not familiar with personally.
He pulls it open, though, if nothing else, the words resonating deep in his soul. This not lone survivor of Keseki. Thumbs through it.
Thumbing through it, you can tell very quickly, as you rest on a few paragraphs, read a few things, that this is a memoir. It's a memoir specifically from Xainan Esch, of course, the author who is a land steward of the Komori Autonomous Region to the northeast of Keseki. It is the main and largest island off of the coast of the main continent. You would know it as a primarily uninhabited island that is full of huge animals, even bigger than the ones you're used to on the mainland. Huge plants as well, massive flowering vegetation. That's why it was vaguely familiar to you. This is a somewhat famous memoir, but you were never specifically a very literary type. You're almost positive you've heard people around you talk about the title before, though.
And he thumbs through it. He again finds himself learning more about Keseki as a whole than he ever did when it was verdant and beautiful, because he's spent a decade longing for it. And so every new piece, it doesn't fix the scars, but it is balm over a wound that he thought would never heal.
I think as Seir was, as Yinghe kept flipping through the pages of the journal, Seir kept like leaning over to see more and more what they would say. Hearing about hawks makes him think of a particularly spirited air, the wild sea. And seeing how all those pages unfurl hits a spot right underneath his chest where he tamps down every feeling he's ever felt so far. And something just leaks out, and a single tear drops onto that page. The last page, about the fate of the hawk, and ostensibly perhaps this person.
Yinghe looks up upon the splattering of the tear on the page with concern in their face, and for the first time their eyes meet yours since you woke up. Seir? And for a moment, whatever tension between the two of you that had spawned since you told them to back off, to slow down, to not address the so difficult to address thing back in the cove, those tensions are forgotten for a moment as they see the tears in your eyes. Are you?
Shit. Shit. I didn't mean to do that. Fuck, did I ruin it?
Cry? No, you didn't ruin it. I know this is, Here. And they quickly take your hand, dropping their eyes now, and they kind of march you both over to the bookshelf with the birder's journal still kind of like clutched tight in their other arm. And as you stop in front of the bookshelf, they say, I bet they have maybe books here about the different kinds of birds. I was thinking maybe we could take one of those. I would like to know more about the birds of Keseki.
Yeah. That'd be nice. It'd be helpful to know. Maybe some creature survived. Sorry, don't know where that came from. And Seir, what he does is pull earlier as he was approaching Yinghe, as hopefully an olive branch, he grabbed the songbook. And instead of addressing any of the feelings, Seir does not know what it was that made him cry. Was it what happened? How the potential doom of this place, how it manifested? Or was it the fact that he thinks of Abasi every time he hears the word hawk? He doesn't know. He can't know, because he will burst at the seams. So instead, he hands the songbook to Yinghe and says, I know you wanted this. Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Yinghe takes the songbook and like gingerly tucks it underneath their arm that's also holding the journal, the broken arm, so they're minding the fracture. As they do, and that emotion that had welled up from a place inside of you that you didn't understand, but that you also do so deeply understand, perhaps not with your mind, but with the deepest recesses of your soul. A grief that belongs to you and that belongs to him, to your maker. to doom. You feel, for the first time, cutting through that ambient fear that has run through your pulse since you landed here, sadness, sorrow, grief. He didn't do this. He didn't want this. This wasn't him, and he did not like this.
What does that mean? Is that how you feel, old man?
What?
Sorry,
What?
I need to fix this radio. I need to fix this radio. I need to fix it now. I think I need to do that. And that tender moment between Seir and Yinghe snuffed out like a candle as he buries any and all feelings in the search of a lamppost of something else. A way forward.
As you stride away from Yinghe in search of any tools or components that could help you repair that radio, Lumièra, that's when you return back into the room.
Xainan watches Seir turn away from Yinghe, and finally a thought crystallizes in his head. Because he snuffed out that conversation and Xainan watched it happen, but he stayed and talked to Lumièra while we were slogging through the dust. In fact, every time he can think of in recent memory since we landed here, Seir has been walking away from Yinghe a lot more. And he files that away next to the conversation about the person who traversed the journey, who broke the very laws of fate just to find him. He doesn't have any room to talk right now, but if this were him, if he were in Seir's shoes, oof, he'd see a storm coming and it was not a dust storm.
Yinghe, for her part, just kind of drops her gaze again. The tension that they had elided over now returning. They fold that songbook even deeper into the crook of their armpit and continue to browse the bookshelf, but with less fervor and joy than earlier. Lumièra, you come back in and you can tell that something is a little more off-kilter than when you left the room, and you have a suspicion it has nothing to do with the cranes or anything of that matter.
Lumièra walks in, and once again, I leave for 20 seconds. And here we fucking are, right back to square one. And so Lumièra stands in the doorway and has like her hands on her hips and is looking between Xainan and Seir and Yinghe and back and forth between all three of them before she just, you know what? Don't even worry about it. Yinghe, let me see your arm, please.
Okay. They tenderly remove the two books underneath it and stretch it open for you.
Takes off her scarf again, stuffs it into Yinghe's mouth.
Okay, here we go.
3. 1. 2. 3. And on 3, this time she actually sets it.
Yinghe is completely silent. They don't shout, they don't wince, they don't flinch, they don't move at all. As you snap their arm back into place, they just stare at you. And then they go,
that better than Xainan and Seir.
I know.
I did hear that.
Thank you.
I wasn't whispering.
There isn't a record player here, too. Maybe it's in what I assume is the broadcast room. The journal mentioned it a few times.
You think that's
Yeah.
the next one up? It's gotta be.
I want to know
right?
what's up there.
Okay.
These places.
Seir's already outside with the grappling hook.
What was the noise he made? Wee wee woo.
Whoop-ha! Whoop-ha! I think is what I said.
Where did wee woo come from?
I don't know.
I don't know, but I liked it.
Felt like something Seir would do. Okay.
It does. Seir does a lot of things. Everything he regrets mostly.
They sure do.
Yep.
Strike Team Nova. The broadcast room of the radio tower is, in a word, overwhelming. You see metal consoles with thousands of knobs, dials, faders, switches, sliders, display panels with burned out bulbs that haven't been lit in years, metal racks heavy with servers, hard drives, and other important looking steel boxes none of you fully understand. However, one of these devices is clearly a record player, hooked up to a bunch of speakers lining the interior of the walls. There's even a record in it, not spinning, next to an empty sleeve. And the sleeve reveals the title of the album, something called Heard It on the Grapevine by a band called Shusi Ko. As for the eastern side of the broadcast room, it is plastered in maps. Regional maps, prefectural maps, even a world map that displays the entirety of Kaseki, the crescent-shaped central continent that bends toward the west, and the island off of its northeastern coast. Hand-drawn symbols are scrawled across these maps, long, sweeping lines demarcating storm fronts and weather patterns, X's crossing out entire regions, circles around various areas, some as small as cities, others as wide as prefectures. There are even question marks scattered about various sections with no apparent rhyme or reason. On the western side of the broadcast room, a small writing desk holds a single, large, leather-bound tome that is currently open. And there is a pencil in the middle of this book, but you'll have to get a little bit closer to see what it says. And finally, in front of the central console, there is a broadcast microphone nestled atop a mic stand and a rolling chair in front of it. And next to this microphone, you see a small plant, a succulent of sorts, in a clay pot, or what used to be a succulent. It's now long dead. Next to the broadcast mic, there's also a personal tape deck, as well as dozens of cassette tapes stacked neatly within the storage shelves that line the walls. Each cassette tape is carefully labeled and dated by hand. And then there's the view. A massive panoramic window stretches all the way across the wall, offering a gorgeous slice of the mountains below. One of the window panes has a razor-thin crack across it, and a haze of dust looms in the air, obscuring the most distant views. But even so, it's gorgeous. You can see for miles and miles and miles all the way down the mountain into the hills and the valleys beyond, and a trench where there might have been a river once upon a time. What do each of you investigate first?
Take me to that radio. Take me to the personal cassette tapes. I need to be in that region.
Okay, Seir, you beeline it toward the cassette tapes. What about you, Lumièra?
Honestly, I think Lumièra is blinded almost by the view, taking in the sweeping landscape and trying everything within her power to remember what Honey Cove used to look like before this, when it was verdant and lush and green and full of life. And I think she actually gets distracted trying to visualize that lush greenery and transpose it on top of the landscape that she's looking at now. And trying to make sense of this. How did we get here? How did they let it get here? Doesn't make sense.
Lumièra, you hang back for a moment, temporarily transfixed by your own anger, curiosity, confusion. The shock and the awe of the beauty of this place that still lingers within the dust, lingers within the corpses of the trees, within the graves all around you. Now we pan over to Xainan. Where do you gravitate toward first?
Xainan doesn't need chronergy or any magic to paint the sinews over the skeleton before him. He looks it over quickly. The trees, the dust, the places where should be rolling hills of green and forests. And all he can think about is home. These maps. A mystery that maybe once wouldn't have been such a mystery to him, but he wasn't a plan guy. That was more Pira's thing. All the maps he ever needed, other people looked at, he just went where he was told. So these maps, he understands what they are. He's just never needed them himself. So here he is, suddenly in dire need. And finally, he goes up, called like a tether pulling him to the map, looking for Haruna Valley, looking for home.
Xainan, let's start with you. You go over to the console area that's just completely plastered by all sorts of maps, sifting through them to locate where you are. And you find it. There's a marking of where Tower 19 is, a bright red dot that has been underlined and circled a few times. You are at the top of a mountain range in the Hofu prefecture, which is in central northern Keseki. It's not terribly far from Haruna Valley, which is in central southern Keseki, but it's also not terribly close. If you'd like to, you can grab these maps and take them with you.
Yeah, I think everyone just hears the sound of one hand just sweeping across this wall and pulling them all down. We're taking them all.
Yep. As you grab them, you look at these drawings, these etchings, these markings on top of them, and there are various different identical maps with completely different markings on them. And there are dates, too. Lots of dates. And you can see that the markings change based on, at first, month, and then week, and then day by day. And the question marks just increase the longer the maps go on. So many question marks over so many different regions of Keseki. Most of them primarily concentrated on the northern regions, which is where this radio tower would have its greatest scope of influence. But it fluctuates, and there's no rhyme or reason to any of it. But of course, you can always pore over this later. And as for Yinghe, they make a beeline toward the record player, and they start fiddling with it. And as they do, all of you kind of hear a soft exclamation from them. Go, there's power! Wait, it's going, it's moving. Hold on one second. I think there's power! And you hear a click, and the speakers crackle to life. And all of you hear music from the record that was on the player start to pour through. And the music with this surround sound, it sounds incredible. And the song, it's a dreamy song. And it rollicks through the speakers with a hypnotic energy. And the lyrics, they're delivered through powerful but haunting vocals. And the words themselves, they're actually quite, sad. Despite the upbeat drums and the catchy bass line, it's perfectly melancholy. And Xainan, even you would recognize this first song on this very famous album. It's one of the most famous albums of Keseki that had come out in the past 50 years. It's a classic, a modern classic at the time. I can't believe it. If there's power,
Nice
maybe
work.
we can do something here, right? There's got to be transmissions and oh, but it sounds so good. This sounds unbelievable.
I never thought I'd hear that again. And you see the transportation, the time travel available in memory as Xainan Esch smiles from ear to ear and just ever so slightly begins to sway to the music.
Yinghe is smiling, and they're saying to themselves, and also to the rest of you, this person had good taste. This is a good one.
It's a classic.
And now we pan over to Seir. This entire time, you had been, I assume, fiddling with the tape deck, perhaps even popping a cassette or two in there and trying to play it.
Oh yeah.
Yep,
Because
okay.
and he also has unclipped his radio from the bandolier, opened the lid that's at the back to see the damage that he had done, to see if like, does this work? How much does it work? May it maybe have the parts I need to fix this? Because I need to fix this radio and I need to fix it now. And hearing the whirring of power, there's like a bit of relief that Seir feels. It's like, okay, we're heading somewhere. But yes, that is what I do first.
Okay. Seir. You click the first cassette tape in, and you play. And as you do, and as each cassette tape plays out, you click the next one in and you hit play, and then the next one in, and the next one in, and the next one in, until you reach the last of the tapes. And here is what you and all of Nova hears. The first tape goes. Day 1. Hello. I'm not really sure what to say. I know that's ironic since I work in radio and all, but I'm not a broadcaster. I'm just an operator. Have been for a while, actually. But that's not why I'm recording this. I'm recording this because, well, it feels important, given everything that's going on. When all of this is over, it will be good to have a record of what it was like. We can learn from this. Other than that, there's really not much to report. I've been transmitting the emergency broadcasts as normal, trying to get as many people as possible in northern Hofu to safe regions. I think it's working. Over and out. Day 42. The damn dust. It's clogging everything up. The panels, the wires, the fucking geomagnetics even. That's why no one else can hear us. Even Tower 1 is down. At least we can communicate with each other. Thank the stars for that. But the other operators, they're starting to tap out. Or they've gone completely dark. I mean, I guess it makes sense. Some of them must have partners, kids, family. They're talking about shuttles. I don't know. I don't blame them. But I'm still here. I'm gonna keep doing this. I mean, the dust isn't always going all the time. Someone somewhere out there at some point is going to hear me. Me and the other operators who are staying. Over and out. 5, 6, 7. That's 7 rogue storms in the past month. 7! That's over twice as many as last month. I wrote it all down. I'm charting their trajectories as best as I can, but I can barely keep up. Thank the stars I've still got Tower 4. It's just me and Zem, like the old days. And their taste in music is still shit. But we're still here. Still broadcasting. And we're not gonna stop until we get through this. It's like Z said, the world is our family. Always has been. So we're gonna warn them and help them and take care of them as best we can. Over and out. This is day 422. That's 100? Yeah, 100 days exactly since 4 stopped responding. I still don't know what happened to them. I mean, I can't even check if I wanted to. They're halfway across the planet. Or maybe that's just an excuse, because I'm scared of what I'll find. I'm still here. Still broadcasting. For Kesiki. For Tower 4. Over and out. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday, dear. Over and out. Day 566. Haven't seen the hawk in a while. Long while. Hope it's okay. It's a bantam bird, so maybe it won't struggle as much as the larger animals. That's my theory, anyway. Rations are getting low. Over and out. I haven't heard another person's voice in 2 years. I've got my records. And I've got myself, but... there's this passage in When We Die, where Loru is talking about how she gets lost on the western side of the Kimori Autonomous Region. And she hasn't eaten in 4 days, and she's running low on water, and her wrist is sprained. She comes across this big chasm in the middle of the woods, this huge hole surrounded by trees on every side. And she can't see the bottom. And she throws a rock down. And she doesn't hear anything. She throws another rock down, doesn't hear anything. And then she gets on her knees and she screams and screams and screams into this fucking hole, but there's nothing. Not even an echo, just silence. What if there's no one left to warn? What if it's just me? Beep. Day 876. Did my broadcast. I can't stop, even if I am the last one left. Storms are getting worse. I didn't know they could get worse. Where did my page go? Day 902. It's been harder for me to get up here, but I've been leaving the broadcasts on for as long as the power lasts. It's not lasting very long these days. Going up and down the stairs takes all the air out of me. I'm coughing more. And here I was thinking I'd die rugged and butch. It's okay. I'm okay. I'll keep going for as long as I can. Over and out.
There's some silence, and then the last tape ends.
Lumièra starts pacing. Back and forth, back and forth. Back and forth before she starts making circles. Continuously. It's too much information at once. It's too much to process. She just heard the audio diary of someone slowly coming to the realization that they are just like her. The last one standing. Is there anything left? After that, there's no more?
Where the tape dies. And I think Seir's caressing this tape deck like it's someone's hand. And he feels that deep sadness, sentimentality. It's like it's feeling so sensitive. This grief. How it's not supposed to be this way. It's from him. And from the one who made him. And you can hear him like push the knob. Well, not the knob, it's the tape deck, so it's the button to push further in case the tape got jammed. But that's the end. You hear that click, 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 click. You fucking hero.
Yeah.
And Yinghe whispers, "We heard you, 19. We heard you."
Thank you, 19. Thank you.
Yinghe strides
nine-
over. Go ahead.
Tower 19's signal. Another lone survivor of Keseki reaches someone who needed to hear it. Because within that, the desperation, the loneliness, the hope that there's someone out there. Xainan was standing, looking at the maps, but you all see, even though it's really ill-advised when you're already dehydrated to cry, the green markings on Xainan Esch's face smeared with tears. He's not looking at the maps anymore. He's hearing for the first time a tower reaching out, saying there was someone else out there. All of the calls that he made out into the dust, all the signals he sent to the tower in Haruna City. Not far north was this tower. And there is also the memory finally cutting through the fear of why we are here. Of that Mayday mission. He hears it again in this voice. This time his Mayday mission comes beating back in his mind. That somewhere outside of this pane of glass is Azali's Raid, who doesn't have to be alone on this planet. They stayed for a really long time.
There in this moment, with the marker that we found on a previous level, flips the tape deck, writes, "Thank you, 19. Love, Nova." And as he does, he begins to pry open some of the parts that he needs to fix the radio. And once he's hollowed it up, he keeps the case, places it on the console. And while he keeps those parts to fix the radio later, now is not the time. Yinghe, you said the power's still going, right?
Yes, it is. There's at least enough to, make the music go. It's gotta come from somewhere. Maybe the solar panels are still working, even though there's so much dust. I'll keep looking around. And Yinghe starts to stride over to the less examined areas of the room. One of the places they go to, they stride past you, Lumièra, and you see them pause in front of the little table that has this big book open on top of it. And they look down at it, and you see their face kind of scrunch up in curiosity and interest, Lumièra.
Did you see something that piques your interest?
Yeah, I think this is a visitor's log. Come here.
What? And Lumièra kind of scurries over to Yinghe's side, starts flipping through pages, and then more frantically starts flipping through pages as she's going through reading.
It is a visitor's log indeed. And it's not very full. It's mostly empty. Only a few pages are full. And the first few pages are from before the dust, and there's only a couple of entries, and most of them are the same name. Tower 19 operator. Just the first two initials. Down. And occasionally someone else's name, like maintenance person or inspector, stuff like that. But after the dust begins, there are only 3 entries on a single page that spans almost 3 years. The first is Tower 19 operator. The second is Talia and Rem. Thank you. And the third just reads Sunrise.
What?
Sunrise's handwriting is not in the tower operator's handwriting or in Talia and Rem's. It's a completely different scrawl. And as you, Lumièra, and Yinghe puzzle over this, in your pocket, Lumièra, the oracle buzzes and vibrates a little and shifts, and a kind of light starts to beam through the fabric.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I completely forgot about you. Are you good? What's going on?
That's okay. I was on sleep mode, to conserve energy. I don't know. I feel something.
Something like...
There's power here, right? Well, obviously.
A little bit.
But, there's something else. Can you just, keep walking forward? Kind of go around in a circle. I feel something.
Okay. And Lumièra will hold the oracle out in front of her as she kind of trails along the walls of this room slowly.
Yes, you circumnavigate the control room, essentially, until the oracle says,
Wait, stop. There. Is there something over there?
and they're kind of blinking their light in the direction of one of thousands of buttons and panels and whatnot. The light is falling on a single area of a console. Rather nondescript area, but as they pointed out, you notice something. Something that you had missed initially because it kind of just blended into the shadows and the dust of everything else here. Attached to one of the consoles by a frayed cable is a dull glass sphere. A single red light blinks from within this sphere as though it were submerged in an ocean of crude oil. And this object, this sphere, is so faded, so pallid, so robbed of its former glory that you don't recognize what it is for a few long moments until it clicks for all of you. This is an oracle.
No
What?
fucking What no. No. What?
I'm sorry. I think I blacked out quickly. Did you say an oracle?
Yes, this is an oracle.
Okay.
Someone
So I
hit
did
me
black
right
out.
now.
Okay.
What
got
is
it.
that doing here?
And this is so.
What is that?
It's
And then you
it's an
see
oracle.
memory hit Xainan before any other words come out of his mouth. As once upon a time, in a thing that feels like a nightmare or a dream, or some kind of strange divine experience, he knows that Trans has been here because this is where he came from. Huh.
Talk to me, Zai. Talk to me, because What? I'm gonna go pick it up. I'm gonna walk over and pick it up. I gotta know.
Okay.
What
Yeah.
the?
Sayer, you stride over and you pick it up. It doesn't beep to life. It doesn't levitate off of your hand. It doesn't chirp in with a warm and inviting voice like every other oracle aside from your oracle. And you realize as this glass sphere hangs in your hand, it's dead. Just looking at it, you, as an agent of Trans, this oracle is not functional. It's broken. Drained of life, drained of power, broken. Beyond repair, beyond your capacity. The only person, entity, object, weapon, location that could repair this would be the Prime Oracle. But the Prime Oracle isn't here.
Shit.
What remains here was placed here by gentle hands and connected through this cable into the tower's signal network. And the oracle, your oracle, chirps and says, "That's the power source. It's not the solar panels or anything, it's it."
The
My-
Oracle.
My sibling. It's not alive, technically speaking. Its shell is using whatever latent energy it has left to just keep this place going because it's the red light. It's broadcasting a signal.
Yeah.
Wait, Lumièra, can you bring me closer? I can try to sync with it and see what kind of signal it is.
Yeah, of course. And Lumièra will place it down next to it. This
Your
thing is
oracle-
ancient.
This droid is exactly the same size as this other oracle, but your oracle is now plated in this metallic chassis, essentially, that this spherical glass orb does not have. And your oracle rolls along the console surface and stands next to this other oracle, and they both start to kind of glow in sync of that deep red light, now pulsing in rhythm to each other. And your oracle says, It's transmitting. It's broadcasting a signal, but
What?
not
Transmitting what?
not anything or anywhere here on this plane. It's broadcasting to the Syndicate.
What?
And the message is broadcasting. I know it. I know the message. I've sent it before. Back in the Wild Sea, when after Sing died. It's an SOS. But the message has already been received. I'm going through the records now, the logs. There's an affirmative from the Syndicate. Someone came to get the strike team that this oracle is registered to a long time ago.
How long was that that acknowledgement?
Over 10 years. The time sync is a little fuzzy. I can't get an exact time, but it's between 12 and 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Lumièra's eyes snap to Xainan.
Sayer's also staring at Xainan. He does not blink.
Xainan, who feels
Xainan.
like he is falling apart in the dust just thinking about this. It was responded to by
Didn't we?
by a hand of fate.
Yes.
Didn't we just celebrate your 10-year
Sure did.
at Trans? Do you think this was... Do you think this was Artemis?
Must be.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say yes, because it's registered to a patron saint of mortals. The strike team.
Does it say
reported to
why?
Artemis.
Does it say why?
Why
Why they were here?
No, those files are corrupted. But I can see that after the SOS was sent out and responded to, this oracle was very badly damaged. Structurally damaged. It would have to go back to the Prime Oracle for repairs, but it chose to stay here. Even though the message got answered, it chose to stay here to keep this tower going. To power it. Even though whoever was here is long gone.
If an oracle was here...
Yes, it was with a strike team Sunrise.
Strike Team Sunrise.
Sunrise? Hold on. And Lumièra will run back over to the visitor's log, flip to the page, drop it on the table in front of Seir and Xainan and point.
Yeah.
They signed the guest book.
I need all three of you to make me a wit check right now to see if you can remember any of you recognize this name at all. No other d20s, just one from each of you.
Valid. Okay, you said wit?
Wit, yep.
I succeed!
So did I.
Oh my god.
I rolled an
What
8.
about Lumièra?
Holy number.
I also rolled an 8.
Natural 1.
Oh my god!
Let's go, Nova.
Okay.
Let's go, Nova.
Yes. All three of you crowded over this visitor's log entry, and now your oracle's information, you pour over your memories trying to think if Strike Team Sunrise rings any sort of a bell, and it does, because all three of you have frequented the Hall of Heroes not inoften, especially after coming back from the Wild Sea, and you remember walking by a very nice plaque, among other plaques, of teams that fell to oblivion, commemorated with simply their team name, Strike Team Sunrise. They are from before any of your time at the Syndicate.
Here, huh? They fell here.
There's something else. There's a location ping, some sort of coordinates inside this oracle.
Where?
It's very close. This location is what's keeping it tethered here. It's helping to keep it, well, going, even though it doesn't have a strike team registered to it anymore. Can we go check it out? It feels important.
Yeah. Yeah.
Xainan, you
Yes.
grabbed the maps, right?
Sure did.
Perfect.
Okay, it's very close by. I'll give directions. Lumièra, follow me out the door.
Let's go.
Lumièra looks confused because, okay, and grabs it again. And it was like, I'm like, I mean, you weren't going anywhere without me anyway, so...
I know, but I like to feel like I'm the leader and in charge here. Onward!
Valid.
Sayer taps the top of the oracle like he's petting a pet and goes, "Good job, little sphere. Let's go."
And Strike Team Nova, all four of you follow the directions of your oracle out of the control room, down the ladder again, through the living quarters, through the records room, past the nests of the northern bantam hawk. until your feet touch upon solid ground once more. And your oracle leads you to a small, unassuming patch of mountain dirt some 30 or 40 feet away from the radio tower. And there, planted vertically into the earth, are 3 small stone pillars, each one hewn from the mountainside with care and attention, names carved in Syndicate standard script, marking the place of 3 graves. And we're going to end the session there. Thank you all so much for tuning in to our return from our winter hiatus with Arc 4 episodes 11 and 12. Let's do some much-deserved introductions, starting with Valiant Dorian.
Why the fuck am I going first? Hi everyone, I'm Valiant Dorian. I use he and his pronouns. Oh, you can find me all across the internet at Valiant Dorian or Hot Spirit, but please enjoy that lovely treasure hunt to set you on. Tonight I've been Seir. I've got too much in my brain, in my heart, and everywhere else. Fuck me. Who uses he, they pronouns? I'm gonna pass it on over to Kai. Kai, you handle this.
I can't fix this. Hi everyone. I'm Kai. I use he, they, and she pronouns. I love crying and telling stories, and this was a really great example of both of those things. You can find me everywhere as Estella and Ladris. Samm, help.
Connie, help. C, help. Hi everyone, I'm Samstar. I use she, they, and the occasional Fae pronouns. I've been Lumièra. She, her. I feel like I'm outside of my body right now. You can follow me all across the interwebs, most specifically where the butterflies do fly blue at Lust for Life X. Take us home, boss. Oh, well, you're sipping. I'm so sorry.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
No, commit crimes against Connie.
You know what? You're
No
right.
sips.
Sips for Connie. With that, everyone, we are back from our winter hiatus. However, be aware that while our cast is traveling a little bit more this season, we're going to be doing more bonus episodes, backstories, special introductions to help flesh out the world of Arc 4. I hope you're all very excited because you can join us next week, Saturday, January 17th at 8 p.m. US Eastern Time, right here on Twitch and YouTube Live for a very special duet episode featuring Kai and C. I wonder what that could be about on the heels of this. I wonder what that could be about on the heels of these lower drops. Thank you all so very much for joining us for this very special Arc 4 stream, and I cannot wait to reveal even more about Kaseki and Strike Team Sunrise as the season hundles onward. In the meantime, you can support our show by joining our Patreon, joining and participating in our Discord, making fan works if you are so inclined and inspired, posting about Transplaner on Blue Sky, Instagram, or Tumblr, rating our podcast, telling someone else about our channel, your friends, your family, your homo's erotics enemy, your barista, your dog, your cat, your northern bantam hawk, your horse, your parakeet. Thank you all so much, Transplaners. We're going to see you next Saturday, January 17th at 8 p.m. US Eastern Time for that special duet bonus episode. And in the meantime, we're going to be rating someone really awesome, no doubt. So if you're in the YouTube Live, hop on over to the Twitch channel so we can send our love onward. And Bijo. Hello, Transplaners! You know what time it is. Sponsor Connie time. For Arc 4, we're collaborating with the Working Families Party, who are building a multiracial coalition of working class people to make our communities a better place to live for everyone. You might be thinking, why does a political party care about a queer tabletop show? As it turns out, the Working Families Party believes in the power of fandom to effect positive political change in the real world. So do we. As a Transplanerd, you're no stranger to just how political our show can be and how our stories are never just fiction. In fact, let's take an action together right now by signing a petition by the Working Families Party to break up big media companies. This cause means a lot to us personally as indie actual play performers fighting censorship, telling authentic stories, and resisting authoritarianism. Go to bit.ly/WFPtrans and add your name to the list. By signing this petition, you will join the Working Families Party's mailing list and receive opportunities to help them organize, educate, and fundraise. So let's build a better future together. Howdy, Transplay nerds! It is, once again, Sponsor Connie time. Arc 4 is proudly sponsored by Hero Forge, a website where you can design and print your very own custom miniatures. But you already knew that, didn't you? Because the spectacular Hero Forge has sponsored us every single arc so far. We've stuck together through all sorts of exciting updates, like Hero Forge Pro, statuettes, color-printed plastic, premium plastic, but now, it's time. It's time for one of the most exciting Hero Forge updates ever. Custom dice. Hero Forge is now offering 3D printed custom dice, where you can put literally anything into the clear material of the die. Each die is printed in the same layers as the item or character bust inside of it, resulting in a solid, perfectly weighted chunk of math rock. You decide the size, color, and shape of your die, the size and color of the numbers on top, and, of course, what the die contains.
Put a frog in it.
Don't die-lay! Visit bit.ly/transforge to design your very own custom miniature or custom dice today.